When it comes to the art of storytelling, the best example I can use is my love for pro wrestling. Now, granted, a lot of storylines may be silly at times, but at least wrestling knows how to do these two things. One, it knows how to entertain its audience, and two, it knows how to tell a story. Another thing to add to that is that regardless of the outcome of said story, it'll give the fans something to talk about for a long time, for years to come down the road. And this is where modern television and movies fail these days, the ability to connect with its audience, relying more on promoting an agenda and trying to educate versus entertaining its audience, allowing us to shut our brains off from the real world and escape reality for a brief moment. Another area where modern entertainment fails is due to so called quote unquote writers not understanding character development and world building. This is especially true when existing properties such as comic books, cartoons, and video games are made into movies and TV shows. Nowadays, these same quote unquote writers will even admit they never glanced at the original source material nor played the video game before getting their hands on the said property to convert it to another form of media. Once again, let's look at pro wrestling, especially the WWE, or World Wrestling Entertainment as it's known. Jean Paul Levesque, better known as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, The Game, the Cerebral Assassin, Triple H, took over after Vince McMahon stepped down in 2022 due to reasons. And since then, if you watch the shows, you could tell the difference in the atmosphere with the way how the fans were reacting to the superstars in the ring, and also to the way how the matches were going on inside that ring. Why? Because not only does Triple H know the wrestling business, the man literally ate, breathed, slept, and bled for the business because he was an active competitor for over 2 decades. So, of course, it makes sense for someone like him to be behind the scenes, being involved, versus a lot of today's screenwriters of movies and television and these directors that don't have a clue in which direction to convey a story. Speaking of character development, whether they're a face or heel or good guy, bad guy, respectively, you have to have characters for the audience to be invested in. No one wants to be invested in someone who is one dimensional, bland, and just too cookie cutter. Why is this character the way they are? What drives them? What are their reasons? And most importantly, why should we even care to begin with? And this is where storytelling as an art form is important. Because if you lose your stride in what is being put out these days, trust me, the fans will let you know, especially in this digital age where everyone with a social media account will let their frustrations be known. To sum this up in a nutshell, substance over style will always win in the end. Now, it's understandable to win over new fans because you have to get them involved as well, especially if there's a property that already exists, or you're basing a movie or television show from an existing property. Again, that's understandable, but not at the expense of insulting their intelligence and at the same time alienating those fans who have been invested or want to stay invested. Because at the end of the day, again, they want nothing more than good characters, a well thought out plot, and most importantly, a great story that will be remembered and talked about.